Welcome to Mad Marketing TV. My name is Jeff Ogden, and I'm the host of Mad Marketing TV, and we're thrilled to have you with us today. And we're really excited about today's guest. A lot of companies are looking to expand internationally, and usually for American companies, their first place to go is the UK. So why not bring on a UK marketing expert? So Andy Betts, let's take a look at Andy. Andy Betts is actually someone I used to work with, and he's a marketing expert, and he does business strategies too. So let's welcome Andy to the show. Welcome to the show, Andy.
Hi, Jeff. Nice to see you again.
Glad to have you here. It's exciting, and I love to chat about the UK because you know I used to work over there, and I have a lot high regards for my British friends. So let's talk about first. I know you spend a lot of time in the US as well as the UK, so you probably have a unique perspective on the differences between marketing in the States versus in the UK. What do you think are some of the major differences?
Well, I think there's a few differences, Jeff. I think one of the things to set off from the preset is we all face very similar challenges, global challenges. However, I think attitudes in the UK are slightly different to that in the US. I feel that the US is a lot more probably advanced in the way that they actually embrace marketing throughout their organizations, and the focus that people in the US have on obviously demand generation and automated marketing techniques. And the UK, I feel, just slightly lags behind in that aspect. And I don't know if that's something that you found, Jeff, while you was working via V over in the UK.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I know a lot of folks in the UK, and I've heard similar things, that the UK tends to lag the US a little bit in marketing sophistication. So I think you make a very good point. And I think it's one of the things, I think, Andy, that it's important that companies do is look outside themselves and look at other industries and other examples and other countries of how things are done, because they can get some great ideas and great insights. Now, I know one of the things which you're also focused on is the whole structure of marketing departments and attribution within marketing operations. Can you explain what that's all about, Andy?
Yeah, of course. My background is in online marketing, and obviously through working through different online marketing channels, I've worked across different departments such as client services, such as sales, such as marketing. And one of the things that I found is that attributing revenue in marketing is very, very difficult. And I would say, I think it was last year, you may have heard of a company called Eloqua, and they did a survey with e-consultancy, which is quite a large publication over in the UK, and I know it's branching out into the US at this moment in time. And they were asking respondents in the US and in Europe to say how is marketing responsible for share of revenue? And the US, I think 40% of respondents have said that marketing is responsible for some share of revenue. In Europe, it was only 14%. And I think that's down to the way that organizations are structured. And traditionally in the UK, we've had an approach where marketing is very much a siloed department. So you've got a marketing department, which might have a product department, it might have a content department, and it might have a corporate marketing department. You then have a sales team, then have a client services team, and then you have different techniques that will come across all these different channels. And it's very hard when a sales comes in or when you want to attribute revenue to attribute that to marketing in some of the organizations in the UK. So you have a fight between a salesperson, a client services person, as to who closed that deal or how that business came across. And to be honest, most of that comes from marketing. So what I'm trying to do in the UK is try and mirror that US approach and say everything starts obviously with your client and your audience, and then how you market and how you look at things like content and demand generation and what channels you use, and then attribute it. Because it's very often that someone can close a sale, but really the reason to close that sale is by an excellent piece of content marketing or an excellent piece of collateral or an excellent piece of a case study management or a POV, for example. So it's really trying to get people to come together and work together and have an evangelist in each organization in the UK that gels these different things together. Because as you know, the marketing has become a lot more fragmented, or some people say segmentable to a certain degree. And to actually manage that within an organization and get everyone to think, not just as a salesperson or a client services person, but think as a marketer. They are a marketer. They're promoting that company, that brand. They should have their own social media content strategy for how they deliver that to their clients, to their prospects, and to influencers in the market. And I think that's the big difference. But I think the US do that an awful lot better than people in the UK do at this moment in time.
Thanks, Andy. I think you make some very good points there about just really integrating the whole thing. I think if people can look at, and we had a lot of our earlier guests talk about this, is look at the life cycle of a buyer and the process they go through in a buying process, and then you realize siloed organizations really don't work and are not effective. Now, one of the things you just mentioned is content and the role of digital and social media. Can you explain kind of what your thoughts are about those particular topics?
Well, like and I think as every marketer will know, the phrase that, content is king is becoming more and more relevant, especially as, online takes a big piece of, the marketing pie, as you would say, in terms of how you interact and how you collaborate with clients. And I just think going into 2012, I think people understand that content is key. We look at things, recent events in the digital industry, go back to my background in digital there, but with Google Plus and the need for relevant content there. Some people saying it's not quite fair. We need to have, some avenues from Twitter and from Facebook in there. But it just shows that the way that everything's moving towards content and personalization, and it's that quality of that content which will actually get you that visitor. It's not just providing content and having churn, it's quality content. And as you'll see from the slide I've just got here, the way that I see it from my experience in the market is it starts with how you market your organization and how you structure your organization. And then it's relevant content via the relevant channel. Now that can be organic, that can be social, that can be through digital, that can be through offline channels and television channels. But it's making sure you've got the relevant channel and then you're giving it to the relevant people. So obviously you're going to adapt your strategies, as I know that you talk about a lot in your shows, Jeff, whether it's B2B or B2C, or whether it's influencer-based marketing. And then once you've got that, it's really then choosing the right medium. And I think what people do an awful lot is think, well, this is the medium. So it could be a PC, it could be a tablet, it could be mobile, it could be paper, it could be direct mail. And they go, this is the channel we want to use. But really, they need to re-engineer that and start with how their organization is structured, what expertise they've got in that organization, and then look at the channels and their audience before they even decide what medium they're going to use.
Thanks, Andy. Really good ideas. I agree with you. Content is really important. The other thing I want to say for our viewers, if they have any trouble seeing those slides, we will post the actual slides themselves to the landing page for the show, which is www.madmarketing.tv. So if they have any problem, they can actually access the slides themselves. So anyway, Andy, I know you've got some really interesting experience and you've worked with a lot of clients there, Publicis, Dentsu, and a bunch of others, and you've got some really a good experience in social media. What do you think are some of the key tips and recommendations for going into this new year of 2012?
Well, I would say that, how long have we got? Not long. So I would say one of the first things is really structuring for that success. And as people talk about, embedding sales to an organization, really it's all about marketing now. Marketing is sales. So the first thing I would say is make sure that you structure to do that and you have the right expertise in your organization. Focus more on bringing in marketing expertise than you would actually sales expertise. That leads me on to my next point, which is really marketing as an organization and not in silos. We're now seeing more and more chief revenue officers, chief technical officers, people that can gel all these marketing disciplines and departments together. Once you've done that, it's all about the content. But to be honest, in this day and age, with what's going on in the online marketing arena as well, I would say it's quality content. If you're just producing content for the sake of producing content, then you're not really going to get anywhere in terms of reaching that client. And then attribute marketing performance. So start to look at how marketing has actually impacted revenue. And that's a difficult thing to do, but I think people should really start to look at what part marketing plays in each part of that buy-in or that purchase cycle. And then listen, and I know that's a big thing. It's not just about listening in the social media environment, but it's listening within your company and finding out who the experts are. You could probably find in a lot of companies that the actual genius or the person with the most creativity and content isn't actually that marketing director. It could be someone sat in an exec role in a corner of an office and no one is actually sharing that information. So it's sharing that content and information within your company, not just content and information about your products and your services, but share that inside. Challenge people and then adapt to what's happening in the market. Certain things happen in the market that we can't control, and you can either fight that or you can look to adapt and change around that. And then last but not least, I would say never lose your personal persona. I'm not a big believer in people that will market through reading a book. And you will sometimes see marketers that will have a list of books there. Now, I'm a big reader and I love books, but it's all about taking what you get from them books, taking what you get from influencers and people that you see online and on shows like this, and adapting it to your own style and your own personality. So it's all about, I would say, in 2012, is becoming unique.
Those are some great tips, Andy. Thank you for sharing them with us. So I've enjoyed having you on the show and chatting with you today. How would our viewers learn more about you and what you do and just get in touch with you?
Yeah, you'll see me out and about at various conferences. So I attend an awful lot of digital marketing conferences across the UK and the US. But the best way is follow me on Twitter, which is @AndyBets1, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. And for those in the UK that want to do something radical, you can also pick up the phone and we can speak on the phone.
Thanks, Andy. You've been a great guest on Mad Marketing TV. So with that said, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week on Mad Marketing TV.